So
all right.
We get to our next topic, Bull.
Yes.
Who's this next topic brought to us by?
Well, Mike, it's brought to you by Menu RX, my good buddy, Dr. Jake May. I've been working with Jake for a while. Obviously, my weight loss process is a long one. I've lost some weight. I got a long way to go. I have struggled. I'm sure many of you out there have struggled as well. You've tried the fad diets. You become a member to this thing or that thing. You lose some weight. You gain it back. It's tough. If you're sick of fad diets, if you're sick of not knowing where to turn, if not getting any help, try Menu RX. There's the website, menu-rx.com. Instead of guessing what might work, Menu RX takes a personalized, science-backed approach to nutrition that's built entirely around you and your needs and how your body works. And here's the good news. Menu RX even accepts many insurance plans, HSA and FSA payments, so you may not have to pay anything out of pocket. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right with your diet but still not seeing results? I'm sure if you're like me, you've been there. Menu RX uses cutting-edge biometrics to tailor a food-as-medicine nutrition plan to you, your biology, your lifestyle, your goals. It's not a one, some of these diet plans, you know them. They use the same plan for everybody. With Menu RX, it's tailored specifically to your needs. So whether you're chasing peak performance, building your dream body, or seeking optimal longevity, Menu RX will help you reach your goals. Go to menu-rx.com, again, as you see on the screen. Talk to my guy, Dr. Jake May. Get your consultation today with Menu RX.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Bull. Guys, we don't think it is likely the Browns trade down from 2. Bull, you said a few minutes ago you'd be extremely shocked.
I'm stunned.
Stunned is the word you would use. There have been reports and rumors circulating that the Browns, once again, are at least potentially listening to deals, as they should be. And a few of the teams that have been reported to be interested in moving up, not necessarily to number 2, but moving up from their current draft slot, are these teams. Steve, you want to take this? Jacksonville at 5. Carolina at 8, Chicago at 10, Dallas at 12, and Denver at number 20. Tyvis, in your mind, and for the sake of this, let's just pretend the Browns are legitimately listening. You could disagree. You could say it's not going to happen. That's fine. I just want to be on the record with this. If the Browns were to trade down out of 2, what would it take? What's the mandatory starting requirement, in your opinion, for any deal involving the Browns to trade out of the number 2 overall pick this night?
It would have to include this year's first round, next year's first round, and depending on who it is out of that list, it might be the second too.
Here's the problem with that list. I'm not
like Jacksonville is the only one I'm comfortable.
Why would I trade down to 5? I'm not going to Jacksonville. Like if you trade down to 20, well, Denver's got to give up a boatload.
That's what I'm talking
up.
about. Yes,
but. So I guess if they offered me some overwhelming deal, I'd have to think about it. Although I wouldn't do it.
It would have to be their first, next year's first, and a good veteran player.
But Jacksonville's not giving up a ton to move from 5 to 2, and for the Browns, you're at 5. You still can't get Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. So I'm not going to do that.
But you can get G's boy Mason Graham.
He hates him.
You could get Tyler Warren.
What would be the? I don't know, Jason. You're more open to making these trades, Jason. What do you? Would you what would it take for you to consider it?
Future one is the start. Like I'm not doing it for less than a future one.
Yeah, of course. But even to me, that's not even enough.
Well, I think where you're right is you're not going to move from 5. You're not going to give up next year's 1 to go from 5 to 2.
Right.
When you're not taking a quarterback.
Yes.
If 5 actually doesn't bother me, you can take the left tackle from LSU because I think the Browns. I think we're going to find out in September and October. The Browns need a left tackle.
I hear you, and I agree with you.
Hey.
But if the Browns take a left tackle,
your ears.
You need to cut
if the Browns take a left tackle at 5, instead of Travis Hunter at 2 to get a second-round pick next year, I'm going to be pissed off.
Would you take
a first-round pick?
If you was going to,
why would Jacksonville do that?
They probably wouldn't.
Yeah,
that's my point. But I'm not moving out of 2 unless I get a first-round pick next year.
Would you take Will Campbell if you was selecting a tackle? The kid,
There's not even a consensus number 1 tackle.
I think it's him.
I don't think so. I've heard other people say he's not the best.
They say he got short arms.
Yeah, well,
I can't have a dinosaur arm tackle.
I'm just throwing that out as an example.
Yeah.
I think we keep glossing over the fact that they don't have a left tackle.
Hey, yes, they
Plug
do.
I
your
haven't
ears.
glossed.
No, they don't.
Wait a second. I haven't glossed over that at all. They clearly need a.
Well,
left
we don't
tackle.
ever talk about it.
We're
going to talk about it in October.
About.
We're going to talk about it in October.
There's nothing to talk about.
When they're scraping the quarterback up off the ground.
They got big Thanos over there.
When they're down to their fourth quarterback by November.
I hear you.
They need.
You don't believe in Buckeyes. That's
You have a
all I
once
hear.
in a lifetime player. Take him at 2 and shut the hell up. That's it. End of conversation. Not trading down to 5.
By the way, I'm with you.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think they're trading down, nor do I think again, if the starting point, if you go down to 5 and you get a first round pick next year, yeah, I'm going to think about that.
Is there any team that got 2 first rounds?
No,
first round
nobody's
picks?
got 2 first rounds. In fact, I believe it's the first time
Ever.
in maybe forever, certainly in a long time, that every team the day of the draft has their own first round pick.
Yeah.
Because nobody likes these quarterbacks is a big reason why.
Yes.
I mean, and that's not. I mean, last year, a lot of times you're trading picks into the future, so that has a lot to do with what happened in prior years.
Yeah.
But a big reason why
Was it a trade last year?
Was what a trade last year.
Anybody made a trade in the draft?
I don't think there were a lot of first round trades last year. That's why everybody's got their first round.
Yeah, that's why-
because all these teams wanted the quarterbacks that were picking near the top, so nobody was trading.
Because the
down
only
there.
team that had the picks was Chicago. Had traded
Yeah.
they picks to the Panthers, or the
Right.
Panthers traded their
Panthers
picks to
traded to
Chicago.
Yeah.
For the other teams on that list, you guys mentioned Jacksonville, and I'm with
Yeah.
you guys. I'm not trading out at 2 unless it starts at a minimum of like 2 future firsts. 8's way too far to fall down. Do you guys agree?
I just think this whole conversation is silly, Mike, honestly, because no team's giving up multiple first round picks to come up to 2, and the Browns are not moving out of that spot unless they get over.
We're all on the same page. I like
Yeah.
to get stuff on the record, so when people try to come back at us, we then say, hey, look at the
okay.
clip. So if 8's too far, then 10's definitely too far, 12's too far, and 20's too far. You could erase all those if those are the 5
Yeah.
teams that are genuinely interested in moving up in some capacity. The only one you'd even think about for a half second would be Jacksonville.
I wouldn't. Not even.
You
for a
would?
second.
Okay.
No.
Jason, for a future first to get back to 5, you would at least think about it.
absolutely drop 3 spots for a future one. Yes.
It's not just 3 spots. You're going from a player who appears to be a once in a lifetime player to a guy who might be a starter.
Let's
I don't
not
know.
act like the 5th pick of the draft is
Well,
a
according
training camp body.
No, but according to, there's no consensus 5th pick in the draft.
Correct.
Whereas everybody that does this for a living thinks Travis Hunter's going to be a star.
Okay, would you say Miles Garrett is a once in a lifetime player?
No.
He's pretty close.
He's a once in a generation player.
What's the difference in a lifetime and a generation? Not much.
When I say lifetime, I mean Travis Hunter is one of one in the history of the game.
All right,
potentially.
so once in a generation, what's
Yeah.
a generation to you? How many
10
years is
years.
a generation? More than that. Okay.
Once in a decade
okay.
player. Yeah.
Let's say
one-
20 years. Let's say 20 years.
They haven't done a whole lot with a once in a decade player.
Right.
So they're going to do a whole lot more with a once in a generational player or once in a lifetime
I
player?
don't know that they're going to do
It's
anything.
all about the quarterback.
Of course
all
it
about
is.
the quarterback.
But
That's what the future one is for.
I don't. First of all, you're not getting a future one trading down 3 spots.
Yes, I
It's
know,
just-
but
it's
we're
silly
playing
to have
Mike's
this conversation.
game.
It's a stupid topic and it's a silly conversation. Number 2, again, I think you're overrating the ability to
I'm
trade
not.
up if there are quarterbacks
I'm
available.
not. I have lots of history of teams moving up in the draft to go get a quarterback. It happens all the time.
It does when the teams ahead that are giving up picks don't need a quarterback. Teams don't trade out of spots for a quarterback if they need
Yes, but there's always a team up there that already has their guy. Always.
one. Who's the team?
Always.
Who's the team?
I don't know. We haven't even played out the year yet.
Top 3 quarterbacks. Top 3 teams this year all need quarterbacks.
When the Panthers traded with the Bears,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Who was Chicago's
Justin Fields. They didn't have a quarterback, but they thought they did.
I want.
Hey.
I want to
Oh,
know.
stop it.
Y'all gonna
He
cut
can't
this.
play.
Y'all gonna stop.
I want to know
Y'all
how
gonna
many
stop doing
times
that.
have quarterbacks gone 1, 2, 3 in the draft, and those teams didn't trade up to, and nobody traded up to get there.
Last year.
1, 2, 3 in the draft. How many times?
I don't even know that
Did they go what-
quarterbacks
yeah,
have
last
gone 1,
year.
2, 3 all that often.
Well, that's
They-
what you're
they went
telling
1,
me.
2, 3 last year.
You're telling me that the Browns have no chance of moving
it
up
just
because
happened
there's
last
going to
year.
be 3
No.
quarterbacks, and the top 3
just
guards are all
happened
going to take
last
quarterbacks.
year.
I didn't say they have no chance. You're making it seem like there's a very good chance they could trade up.
I'm
I'm
saying-
saying it's not as easy as you're making it seem.
I'm saying there's
not
a lot.
that there's no chance.
There's a lot of history of teams moving up in the draft to get a
Agreed,
quarterback.
but-
That's all I'm saying.
But
That's all I'm
it
saying.
depends how many good quarterbacks there are next year and who's picking in those
And
spots.
and,
That's all I'm saying.
as someone who has said this for months, I also acknowledge NIL has changed everything.
That's right. That's right.
Everything.
I'm not saying
all of this is a
I'm just saying,
calculated
I
risk.
just think you're making it seem like it's easy to move up, and I don't think it is.
It's a lot easier when you have an extra one to
yes,
attach.
but ultimately, if the Giants, Saints, and Raiders have the top 3 picks next year and the 3 quarterbacks, the Browns won't be able to move up. Now that might not happen. Maybe the Patriots are in the top 3 again, and they could.
All of
the
this is a
Titans.
calculated risk.